I have my mic now.
Oh,
I bet it's not on. I didn't turn it on.
you should totally turn it on.
Well, but then I have to start. I'm going to stop the recording, and because it's already. I don't think you can change your audio source in the middle of. Let's try it. I don't know. I'll try it.
Give it a shot.
That's interesting. Oh, that dope. Wow, look at that.
That sounds way better. Do you sound like me now? Is that how I sound?
I don't know. I don't know how you sound.
Do I sound clean and crisp to you? Or
you do sound clean and crisp. Did I not sound clean and crisp before that?
No, never.
Really? Oh, I thought I'd been sounding great this whole time. That's not the case.
No. So, but you might want to bring it a little bit closer, because if I know the Yeti, it doesn't take it from like the top down. It's mostly a 360 microphone. Yeah. So when you speak to in the side of it, it will pick it up a lot better. Rather than,
is that better right there? Testing,
yeah.
testing.
Yep.
All right.
So, but you don't have to lean into it. You can sit back.
Okay. So now I've just got a buttery, smooth, velvety voice.
Yeah. So lean back a little bit. Now.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, a little better. Maybe turn the gain down a little bit.
Better. Definitely. 1 or 2?
Better 1.
Okay.
You sound like echoey-ish, like you're like if you were gonna like rap like T-Pain, throw the gain all the way up. But
does this change anything? 1, 2,
it's the sensitivity.
2, 3, 3.
Keep it on 3.
3 was the 1. All right.
Yeah, because that's sensitivity, and then gain. You don't want your gain more than 50% usually. Keep that like usually like 30-40%.
Does this change anything right here? Anything at all? Anything? No? Okay.
I'm pretty sure I used to have one of those mics, so I'm pretty sure I know what it is. That's determining where you're taking the sound from. So
that was volume. I was just changing the volume. I didn't know there was a recording volume. But hey, you know what? We just gave a tutorial on how to install and set up your Yeti mic.
Boom, done deal, easy peasy. So, the Yeti mics, honestly, it's probably like the best beginner microphone you can buy for recording, doing all this stuff. It's like $100, right, or $120. I have a Audio Technica mic, but I did start with a Yeti mic. So Audio Technica, and the reason why I got it is because I like to like sing and songwrite sometimes.
I did not know that about you, actually.
Well, and I play the piano. So, I should say I started playing the piano. I'm a novice piano player. So I found that my skill level of playing is like kind of like intermediate, but I'm trying to like read and write music too. Okay. And that is like super, super beginner level. Like I'm talking like elementary teacher type level type stuff. So, but no, I love to sing. Like karaoke is like one of my favorite things to do when we go out at like the bars and like that. If we're walking by a karaoke place, I'm like like that. So,
you know what? Well, there was a karaoke place in Lisbon last week, so I guess at the wedding we'll get you up there.
Done deal.
Me and Amanda, we cannot sing at all.
No,
we're the dancers. We dance. We do not sing.
Well, I feel like karaoke. It's not about how to sing the best. It's how much fun can you have while doing it. And so I'll purposely do like silly songs that are fun to sing and just like crowd, like, to get the crowd going, that kind of stuff. I'll give you one example is one of the most popular ones that I will sing. That's like fun is Roses by Outkast.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I'll sing that to like, because most people they forget about that song or whatever. So it's like, it's one of those like funny ones, but it's also kind of everyone knows type thing. So yeah, so that's a good one.
So we actually were at a karaoke bar last week for a free shot. There's a strip of bars there in Lisbon, which just it's bar after bar like every city has. Mm-hmm. And there was a girl outside like free shot, come on in. Blah, blah. It was like 5 or 6 p.m. So like we're the only ones there right now. But we were only there because it was our last night, and that's where we're going to be doing our welcome dinner. So when everybody comes over,
really?
Or not our welcome dinner, but our welcome night, right? So we're going to do a welcome night bar crawl with everybody. So we're like, well, we have to at least go see what with the strip of bars or whatnot. Well, we went in, asked if we want to do karaoke. I'm like, no, because I know exactly what's going to happen. The same thing that always happens, which is Amanda is going to pick Barbie Girl, and then she's not going to sing her part. And then I'm going to have to sing both parts. And that's what always ends up happening. So, of course, that's what ended up happening. Yep. She's always leaving me hanging there.
You should have sung the Ken song.
I don't know
I'm
that
just Ken.
I don't know that song. That's not one that I'm familiar with.
It's from the Barbie movie. If you saw it.
Oh, okay. I started watching it on a plane and I fell asleep.
Ah,
Yeah. So
well,
yeah,
I think that's probably the most popular song from that movie.
Okay.
There was like 2 popular songs that came out of it, and that was like one of the main ones. It's with Ryan. Oh God,
Gosling.
people are gonna kill. Is it
Ryan
Gosling?
Gosling.
I can't say Ryan Reynolds. It's definitely Gosling.
Nope. Yep.
The other one that looks just like the other one.
I'm not gonna say they look like. People murder you for that, but
I know. All right, come on. They look fairly similar.
they're both very attractive leading men in Hollywood that are
have the
in
same
their
haircut
40s that have dirty brown blonde hair. Yeah, I get it. I get it. They're both named Ryan, but one of them's fucking hilarious and the other one's Ryan Gosling. So
to be fair, yes, Ryan Gosling is an insanely good actor.
Yes,
and Reynolds is really good at what he does, but he's always focused more on comedy than like the more serious stuff.
Well, he's my friends and I, since we were my army friends, when we were in our 20s, we would always say, "Hey, you're allowed 5." So we had our 5 male crushes that you could have, no homo, right? Like,
yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds is always top of the list for pretty much everyone of my age range.
Of course. Did you hear what he said in that Deadpool 3 movie? Like, the funniest thing out.
He's hilarious. He's hilarious.
All right, brand new topic that speaking about Ryan Reynolds specifically, talking about how celebrities leverage their fame to create or buy businesses. And Ryan Reynolds did that with Mint Mobile.
He did.
He took a failing cellular company, bought it for a couple mil, and increased the value like tenfold just by putting out commercials with his face on it.
So that's his MO though. That's not his first or last business that he's done that for.
Nope. He's also there, and he's not the first person to do this. A lot of celebrities have done this with vodkas and tequilas and all sorts of different stuff.
Well, he did it with a gin, Aviation Gin. Wrexham was a failing company, right? A failing organization before him.
So the impact of like high net worth celebrities of turning businesses around because people like those celebrities, and then also not to mention he makes his commercials funny, right? Everyone knows that funny commercials transact so much better. I can't tell you the amount of times I get the advertisement for some of like the better marketing commercial making type studios, where they're like, "Hey, look, this is your ad. Oh, I didn't see it there because it's not funny." Like it's like literally like that's the beginning of their ad, and it's true. It's true. Like everyone talks about like all the funny ads from the Super Bowl and stuff, but all the other ads are just nothing.
It's hard, and it's hard to force yourself to be funny in marketing. You know what I mean? Like when you're trying to, when you're doing an ad, right? And marketing, there's a checklist, right? You have to say this. You got to add this. Don't forget to mention this, right? Oh, we need a product picture. You need this person in it. This thing needs to be in it, right? Everybody in the company has like their thing that they want included, especially when the company's putting $1 million or 10 million or whatever into this, into this 1 30-second spot or whatever. And then it's like, oh, by the way, it has to be funny. It has to be memorable. It has to, it has to check so many boxes.
Oh yeah,
that's a tough one. And then it's like a stand-up comedian being on stage, where it's like not a well-known comedian, right? And it's like, who is this guy? And then it's like you got 1 or 2 opening jokes, like you bomb, you're done. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of pressure.
No, you're absolutely right. And so, and I even reached out to like those teams of like, hey, how much would like, doing one commercial cost? It's in like $100,000 just to film a single 30-second commercial that is fully like.
So clarify what you said there. The spot is $100,000 or filming is $100,000?
Filming, editing, hiring actors and directing and all that stuff.
It's way more than that.
Well,
it's way more than that.
These micro studios, they're doing it for anywhere between like range was depending on like the production and like how long it was anywhere between like 100 to like 250.
Yeah, but
so
that's just what they're charging.
Yes, that is what they're charging.
You can spend whatever you want on it though.
That is exactly right. So you could always do it yourself and make it a lot, cheaper, simpler.
Well, I mean, to be honest, now with the tools that are available now, I can make a high budget looking 30-second spot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I definitely think so. I mean, our iPhones are better cameras than most.
Not even that, just the
10 years ago.
availability of 4K B-roll that is open source. You only need 30 seconds, and then you just video yourself talking. It's like there's not now. Are you getting your point across and all that kind of stuff? Like, right. So it completely depends on what your message is, which is why these companies will still spend millions of dollars shooting their content, because it's like they want to control every aspect of it. They're not going to rely. And that actually is a segue into one of the topics for today, which is about AI, right? So, but that's one of those limitations, right? When we talk about, hey, AI is the great equalizer, and companies, solopreneurs and whatnot can essentially compete on an even playing field because of AI. That's where there's a difference, right? If you have mega budget and you can really control every aspect of it, you can do things that just you're not going to be able to do with AI. There was a massive announcement today,
or this week.
Well, this week, I guess. Did you see it?
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh my god, I just saw it this morning. I'm fucking excited. I had a team I'm like, okay, we're talking about operators. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about the 500 billion commitment for an AI global.
Okay, so you're talking about the political side of it. Okay, yeah. I'm talking about the release of operators.
Please explain more.
Okay. You don't know this? Okay, this is OpenAI. Okay, so ChatGPT, right? The we've come to know and love. Which, by the way, there's obviously a lot of competitors emerging. That's a whole separate conversation we talk about.
I mean, I work for one of those competitors technically, so
fair, but okay, fair. That's not what I was referring to, because you guys have had AI for a long time.
Right.
But what I'm talking about is like Perplexity. Did you see the Chinese one that just launched?
No, I have heard Perplexity though. Yeah,
so China just launched another one that is outperforming OpenAI in every metric.
Wow.
But the problem is it was funded by the government, which means if you use it,
you're giving the government your information.
You're 100% getting everything to China, right? It's TikTok versus Instagram, right? So that's.
I found that US will ban this AI tool in the US next. So
yep,
I mean,
So I'm not even gonna fuck with it. And to be perfectly honest, OpenAI can do more than I can. I can't have the capacity to exercise OpenAI beyond its capability for anything that I'm doing. I'll put it that way, right? Like, I'm not doing anything that freaking crazy. But this operator thing is really cool. It's now allowing it to do tasks. So inside of GPT, it'll open up a separate window and do whatever you've asked it to do. So if you're like, hey, I want you to send out this, I want you to make 5 templates for me of emails, and I want you to A/B test them to this list of 500 potential investors using my LinkedIn. It'll then open up LinkedIn, open up the search for those investors, send it an email. Like, it'll do all that stuff. It'll go to PayPal and buy stuff for you. It'll task like management.
Wow. Okay, that's huge.
Fucking huge.
Are you kidding me? That's literally what we were talking about that last time, about how I was saying that the connection between facilities. I was like, well, we said, hey, the next stage before we get to the integration portion is operations.
Yep.
That's what you said, and it literally just launched.
It is in beta, so pro users now have early access to it.
That's insane.
Yep.
All right. I want to see it in action with you, because you have the pro account. I haven't the pro account yet.
I send you but right now, actually, I'm going to send this to you, because it's let's not waste the thing, but I'll send it to you after the show, after we're done recording. It was an example. It's a 16-slide Instagram reel, and it shows like 5 or 6 examples of people using it for different things. And I was like,
all right. This is, our productivity is going to be going through the roof, because I'm just thinking about all the minute tasks that I don't want to do. Like, let me just give you one thing. Like, so with the real, like, I'm already just like coming off the top of my head.
Dude, it would have filled in all those things, all of those registrations for all of those proposals we just did, that you spent probably 10 or 20 hours doing, re-logging in every time you get logged out. It could be automatically doing that for you while we were writing the proposal.
Yeah. So that it could be your bookkeeper sending photos to it and logging things into your tool of choice. Hey, take that. Here's a photo of my most recent business. So rather than having to pay for a bookkeeping site or service, you can just say, hey, here is a receipt of blank. Please log this in my QuickBooks, and then and have it just go to your QuickBooks for you automatically, open up a browser all on its own, and just do that. And the fact that they also added voice audio, so now you can just be telling it rather than typing it, because that you and I can both probably talk a little bit faster than we can type.
Right.
So I know there are people out there that can type like insanely. I'm fast at typing, but
but you talk about integrating that with Meta AI now, and so now you're saying, I just took all these photos. Hey, upload my photos to my drive, then have my preloaded, GPT AI bot that I built, organize them into content based on my branded template that I've already preloaded in Canva. All of these things are they're already talking to each other. So now you can literally just say, hey, I uploaded 1,000 photos. Go ahead and order those into 20 pieces of content and then schedule them over the next 2 weeks. And trust that it's doing it according to your protocols because you've already built it.
I mean,
I just eliminated 2 employees.
We can physically see that happening on screen. So that way
you can.
So it's literally like, all right, let me just watch, see if they are setting it up appropriately based on how I normally would do it. And then see what the final result is. Just double check and be like, cool. Well, if it worked once, it should work every other time appropriately to that, and done. So that's insane. That is absolutely insane. I cannot believe we're already there. That is crazy. And that also just killed like so many companies too. Like some of these AI startups, a lot of their value was training the GPT model to be like an operator.
Exactly.
And now that GPT has launched the operator model, it just killed all those companies.
Honest, there are so many AI ideas or startups that I've had in the last couple of weeks or a couple of months, and you have too. We've talked about a few of them.
Yep.
That's the exact reason I'm not doing it. Like, it'll take me 2 or 3 months to really come up with like the business plan, the pitch deck, do the market research, all this stuff. And like, it'll take OpenAI 2 weeks to just release an update that already does it. And it's going to be doing it a hell of a lot better than my version, which would have been using an older version of their software anyway as my back end.
What I think, I listened to a podcast the other day where people were talking about, it's like, hey, like what are some of the more successful AI startups that are coming out of it? And one of the main ones are, hey, listen, like AI integration systems are going to be huge. Like that, like to this day, the largest AI startup besides OpenAI is one that's literally just working on the integration between systems and processes. Like that is, it's already evaluated at like over $1 billion type company. It's going there.
Yeah. And not going to get political at all here. Okay. But we did just have an election. And if you watched the inauguration, which I didn't watch all of it, but I saw snippets.
I watched until the main people spoke, and then I stopped.
Yeah. So I'm glad you just said the main people, because that was about to be my point. It's impossible not to notice the just like wall of billionaires behind Trump, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you see Musk, you see all these people like just standing there.
Well, they had an inaugural ball where it was literally just all million, like basically billionaires there.
Well, it's oligarchs all standing there.
There was a statistic that said, so last time when Trump was elected, he had the highest capital in the White House, than any other president before him.
Wild.
This year, he now is beating that record by like 4 times because of the people that he's assigned in positions.
It's wild. It is wild.
Because of their net worth. And having Musk in there, obviously, really skyrockets it.
And Bezos.
But yeah, no, it's insane.
All that because again, I don't want to get political here, but it's impossible not to that. But then he also is actively working on policy that is essentially supporting OpenAI. And so when you look, and then you just saw Wes address, so it's just like you connect the dots here, and it's hard to ignore how much money is about to be poured into that specific company and all of the access that they have for basically anything. And so obviously, you know, I'm not going to give investment advice here, but you know, I'm definitely invested in video, right, and those sorts of things. But beyond that, I'm looking at this from how do I exploit this from a business standpoint.
There's so many areas I could pivot to this because I think it's going to impact a lot of things. It's going to impact Bitcoin. It's going to impact our Bitcoin processing. It's going to like, you know, Trump just he created a meme, and in one night it's worth over $1 billion.
Yep.
You know, they've talked about how they're going to fund crypto. So that had and it could be worse, because the problem with crypto, and we can go even deeper into this, is I'm involved in quantum mechanic, like quantum world. Quantum kills crypto. So until crypto adapts to quantum computing, it's not going, which people are mining crypto with their personal machines. Well, any quantum machine will break that personal machine quantum chain. Until that process gets re-architected, you're at risk. Everyone who owns crypto is at risk of losing everything like that. So that's the problem with crypto, and it's not crypto. It's also the problem with every single bank and every single institution possible, because most banks are not are not quantum safe. That is something that is offered today to become quantum safe. But the thing about quantum is just like how we talk about GPT and these like large language models and how they learn and get stronger. Quantum is the exact same way. It gets stronger and better the more that it processes and does transactions and does equations. And so that's why I'm saying I have so many different ways we can pivot this conversation into different areas. But it's a really exciting time to hear that there's great new innovations coming out.
Yeah.
We have a president, like, you know, love him or hate him, we have a president who actually wants to invest and has convinced high network individuals to also invest into additional technology and infrastructure into our economy, basically. So, which
it's about to get very interesting. Is the way.
And part of like energy, which we talked about earlier as well too. All of those CEOs that were sitting behind them, every single one of them owns like power plants. I talked about plant power earlier.
Yeah.
About how, you know, he's going to dig oil in our natural reserves, right?
Yeah.
Like we've been keeping our natural reserves as a last resort. I agree with him ending some electric policies that are in place. I think that's still a direction that we should be heading as well too. But you know, burning more fossil fuels is crazy. Like we just had snow in Florida and the South Coast. It was cold. It snowed. We just had a storm here in Massachusetts as well. It snowed more in Florida than it did here in Massachusetts. That is unheard of.
It's impossible to ignore things.
It's impossible to ignore that things are affecting our environment and all that. Yeah. But there's also economic impact versus humanistic need. Our need for energy and electricity is so dire nowadays, especially with these growing technologies. Like all these OpenAI programs are some of the most power-hungry devices. Same thing with crypto. Crypto is the most power-hungry types of processing that we've ever come across. And so with these two technologies kind of emerging almost at the same time, really. It's creating that's what's creating this power obscurity, this power crisis that we're going to be having. So it's going to be this exciting time, concerning time, but it's also when people become fearful, when people become start talking about things, it's also a great time for opportunity.
Yeah.
And so and I'm sure we'll take advantage of that in one way or another.
We did on a whole tangent and got to the topic, but I think that was all really good conversation. The topic was going to be actually about And you hear people talking about, prompt engineering and good prompting and prompt stuff all the time. The topic we were going to talk about was, AI is great if you know how to use it.
Yes.
Right. And so let's still talk about that. I'd love, your take on that. I know prompt engineering is obviously, with my logistics and engineering background, like logic is really like the big part of that. And you as a software engineer, we're speaking the same language. But I'm before you answer the second part, I'm going to add this to the question, just what we just talked about is, and the fact that does operator mode remove the need for prompt engineering, or how does it impact it?
Ooh, I actually think it increases the need for prompt engineering, because in order to direct your AI operator, it's still a logic-based machine. It is not a human that is it might be able to certain humanistic tasks, but until you train it to do the specific thing in the specific way that you want it to do, it's just going to do the generic process. If I just mentioned taking pictures of the receipts. Hey, can you please upload this these photos, calculate them, and put them into my QuickBooks to log my business receipts?
Right.
Okay, cool. I did not specify where to put those, what my login credentials are. So at any point, if I'm not logged in, it's not going to be able to get back into that system, which that just also brought up a whole new thing about security with open AI systems now too, which that I have no idea how they're going to manage that.
So I sent you the link to it so you can watch it after the video, but in that you'll notice it actually will bug you. It's operating in a screen inside, and it is opening up a tab where you can see everything it's doing while it's doing it. It says like password needed. It'll like alert you. You can say, "Hey, Brendon,
I have two screens. This is perfect. I need a third one. I need a third screen just to like have GPT up at all times, showing me what it's doing." Oh,
I'm so excited. I literally called my VAs today, and after I sent them, and I said, "Okay, this is either going to replace you guys, or you're going to learn how to use it ASAP so that we can bring on a ton more clients." And those are your two choices. That's it. That's it. Yeah. We're about to like quintuple the amount of work we're doing, or I'm going to, or we'll miss to replace you.
Yeah. No, that's.
And I want the people, but the thing is, like, I want their mindset to be like, this is awesome, not like, oh my God, I'm scared of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because imagine what we can do if we harness it.
No, you're absolutely right. And it can just do, and maybe it won't design a website for you, like based off of these operators and stuff. Like maybe it could get to a certain point.
No, it's not. It's just all this is making us more efficient.
Yep.
That's literally all this is. Like, how many times have you like on hold doing whatever, or like you're on like, for the fucking 18th time today, why am I having to do this one-time passcode and this and that? Or like, oh my God, I didn't get this thing filled out in the website timed out 10 minutes, and now I have to go back and refill out all of this information again. I wish there was just a way for some smart bot to remember all the shit that I just did and automatically fill it in for me. Go, guess what? Now it is. You just saved yourself an hour. Yep. What are you going to go do with it?
I'm probably going to go either work some more or relax some more.
Exactly. You're either going to go have some sex, drink a beer, watch a podcast, or start another business. People like you and me, we're going to harness those hours each day and use it to start other companies. You know what I mean? Like,
and this will to the 4-hour work week.
Yes. Yes. So this is your choice. You either end up working 400 hours and like controlling your life like this, or you truly are like, oh my God, I really can just like automate my shit, put myself on autopilot, and really enjoy life.
Yep. And if the 4-hour work week, it's a good book. It talks about automating by using people, but the new version of that is automating through AI. Like, because the reality is, it's like, we now all have access to this AI system. It's fairly inexpensive for the user. Right. For industries, it can get expensive.
There's a lot of people who are like, oh my God, this is expensive. But when you look at what it does for you, it's It's so cheap. My dad obviously a lot than you and I. And you think about his perspective from
Yep.
you know the era he comes in. He's an engineer, nuclear engineer. He always used to tell me growing up, he's like, because people would complain about the price of gas, you know, and he's like, well, he's like, and he was the same one. He's like, yeah, gas is expensive, and I don't want to pay it, which is like why he walked everywhere, rode his bike everywhere. But he understood that if you, but he had a truck because he understood like if you need to drive, it's because you're moving a large amount of stuff. And that's true still today. Even if you're in a car, the reason you're in that car and not walking is because you have to move yourself 200 pounds, 100 pounds, 300 pounds, however big you are, plus your backpack, your pet. You go groceries, you're bringing 200 pounds of groceries back. What would you have to pay somebody to go move 600 pounds of shit 5 miles? How much would it cost you to go? A lot. So when you think about it that way, the amount you're paying for that gas to move you plus the weight of that car 5 miles, he's like, they're not charging nearly enough, not even close. And when you think about it, if we all adopted that perspective of what it really takes from an engineering perspective to move shit and do things and the actual cost to our planet or to anything else, then you'd understand like, oh shit, we really are living way beyond, you know, our means in terms of and that's okay, because that's like, not to get political, but that's who we are as humans, right? We are adventurers, explorers,
right,
et cetera, et cetera. But when you start thinking about it from that perspective, the amount of power that you're getting from this AI is absolutely incredible and worth more than whatever it is, $59 a month, or, you know, I don't even remember how much it costs, but
I mean, that's not that expensive. I mean, like some of the other software tools, like people who are playing that price, they don't work in business. Like they don't have their own business. Some of the most simple software that you can think of, like QuickBooks and stuff, is like $100 a month. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is $100 a month.
Yeah,
and doesn't do all that stuff. it's like
no.
Like these other tools that you think are like these, like, oh, it's like that's like a small nice to have type thing. They cost like $100 a month.
Right.
This AI system is going to be providing real, true.
Oh yeah.
Like
how much do you spend on Shopify every month, and how much, you know, or
Shopify's what, like $30 a month or something like that. It's not, Shopify's not as expensive, but
no. Once you have no. If you're an e-com company, Shopify's a shitload because you have like 18 landing pages and you have conversion funnels and you have trackers and you have all these little plugins, and they all are $5, $10, $15 bucks a month.
It can get up to a couple thousand a month.
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
Can. And so it's like people don't understand that like some of these other businesses processes are more. Not to mention, like if any enterprise is doing the GPT model, they're gonna, you know, that license per person that uses it, and then also on top of that, there's gonna be processing limitations. Like it's gotta be in the fund somewhere, which is why if you're like a large enterprise scale business that's using it to, like, you know, for a lot of different processes and systems, you're going to have to pay more for that. It's so that, like, based on the, you know, the pricings that I've seen, like that is generally, it's based on like tokenization, basically.
Yep.
Like they call them, it's like, hey, you're going to, you know, you're buying many tokens. It will auto renew these tokens, kind of like re-upping your Starbucks card. It's like, hey, once you get down to a lower threshold, we'll re-up for you, but we'll notify you beforehand just to let you know. And within a certain amount of days, you can cancel this charge you don't want anymore.
Right.
And so it'll become like that. But yeah, no, $60 a month. Because what the pro membership was like, what, 2025?
I don't even remember. It
was something like that, which
it's less than 100. So
I liked that you could use like a certain free amount per day, because that's what I used it for. I don't have it.
And in the beginning, for early adopters, that free amount, like I was doing like dozens of searches at a time. Now it's like you get 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah, they minimize the free. Free. If I want to generate a photo, it'll generate like 2 photos for me, and then it's like, and we're done now. And
I think it's 1 now. I think it's like 1. It's great. Yeah, but yeah.
It's one. Then one revision, and then you're like, it's like, and then I'll just stop. It'll be like, sorry, you've run out of your credits. Because
but I will say this:
is like, you know,
their first photo they give me now 10 times better than the first one last year.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been highly efficient. I still have worries over some governance on that stuff in general. I think that there is a lot of But I
And
think
you and I
very-
use stuff that's like on some technical things, right? So we have to be pretty careful about not putting proprietary on there and all that.
Which
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
so that's the important. So yeah, so we were. I mean, we had already just talked about how nothing we had was really proprietary,
Right.
But that is something that people should be aware of. Is you just because it's your personal browser, it's your personal GPT, does not mean it is.
No.
It is not susceptible to hacked to somebody else taking.
Well,
that
it's
data.
not just that, but that the data you're putting there is not staying on your computer. It's
Exactly.
using that data to teach itself so that it becomes better. That's why it's getting better every week.
Yep. So, but it still will have to customize their own AI systems, some personal reasons and uses, and I still think ChatGPT is great for small businesses and also and small departments, depending on their use case. The large enterprise stuff still won't be able to be handled. Though maybe portions and sections could be handled, but it'll be counterintuitive that way. So like there's still room in enterprise. There's still room for that. So if we want to talk about startups, that we mentioned it earlier, that's the area where AI can be long sustained. It's like, hey, no, this AI, even if it was ChatGPT based, you developed it for this specific enterprise business need that helped either reduce time, reduce cost, reduce whatever in order to produce more. Like just think about all the problems that businesses face. The main one, and I can literally think of like the main one that businesses always complain about to me is cost, right? They always think that there's too much. I mean, we all do, right? We're both business owners. Like we always think that things cost too much, and we're trying to figure out ways to reduce cost to increase our bottom line. Because at the end of the day, like our profit margins, we feel like we've made a pretty sustainable business, but our profit margins are based on cost. And so how do we optimize that? Well, for technical companies, it's either the cost of employees, it's the cost of the tools that they use, it's their time to market also can determine cost. And then it's also the softwares and processes that they use too. And so, which is why cloud cost tools are so some of the fastest growing SaaS companies have been cost analysis tools. How do you take that AI system and create a cost analysis tool for their entire enterprise? And I'm not talking about just, the one I'm talking about specifically is a cloud cost tool, but how do you take that AI system and address not just cloud costs? How do you address all costs across the enterprise and have it look at it analytically based off of your business requirements?
Right.
That's like, I can see doing that, but for specific areas using these types of operators, because you could even do a demo, create the operator during the demo for their business and say, yeah, hey, like this is what it would do for you then.
Yeah.
And obviously it'll get better with use, but like, boom, here you go.
There's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to want to put that time in. And so there's going to be those that are sure.
Yeah.